Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A long time ago, I read this. The ugliest form of refusal is avoidance or postponing. That is, if someone asks you, hey, can you help me with this? Or can you lend me that? Or something like that. The ugliest is just to postpone it or avoid. Don't give an answer. Instead of saying yes, or say no. You take responsibility. And it seems like this is something that happened at the United Nations Security Council meeting, where a country called the Czech Republic refused to participate in one of the sessions summoned by the Russians to discuss the Ukrainian attack, missile attack on Belgorod, which killed about 21 civilians. Among those two were children and about 110 wounded. Civilian infrastructure destroyed as well. That qualifies as a war crime or a terrorist attack. Anyway, it violates the international law, that's for sure. I'm not going to discuss of the same thing the Russians did the day before. In Ukraine, we acknowledge that. The problem is Czech Republic. And not only Czech Republic, is this attitude of running away from responsibility. You might say, what does the Czech Republic have to do with the Ukrainian terrorist, or how do you want to call it, attack on the city of Belgorod inside Russia, not the occupied territories? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about in these two articles that I have here, plus a little sentence from the third article, which is the Ukrainians used Czech-made rockets and launchers. That is, without that, these guys wouldn't have participated in this terrorist attack, according to Russians. And I will feature Maria Zakharova talking about the Czech Republic envoy to the United Nations, calling all kind of things. And then it's funny. It's kind of funny because Maria Zakharova is very sarcastic and very smart and courageous. I bet she is. So we start with this article from Sputnik. This is from an hour ago, today on the 30th of December 2023. Let's see what do we have here. Czech Foreign Ministry should figure out how United Nations works. Russian Foreign Ministry. So Maria Zakharova right here, she said, well, maybe these guys should work on learning how United Nations goes about with its rules. Anyway, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova commented on the United Nations Czech permanent representative's refusal to participate in the meeting that the United Nations Security Council works in accordance with the specific norms of international law and not in accordance with some other rules. Russia earlier demanded that the presence of the Czech envoy at the United Nations Security Council meeting so that he could explain himself for his country's supply of ammunition, which is killing civilians, end quote. But the permanent representative refused to participate in the meeting. So here is from the other article that I said I'm going to use only one sentence, which is faster. A Czech-made RM-70 Vampire, an upgraded, heavier version of the Soviet BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher, was also used, the Ministry of Defense said, in the killing of civilians in Belgorod. This is from a Russia Today article. Again, I covered this in another video a minute ago. So Dmitry, this is another article. Russia Today, NATO state scared, quote unquote, to attend United Nations meeting. Russian diplomat, this is from the 31st of December 2023. Dmitry Polyansky has accused the Czech foreign minister of cowardice. So let's go back to Zakharova, and I will quote her. I could not imagine that the Czech Foreign Ministry is so illiterate that they do not know how the United Nations Security Council works. This is the multilateral structure that is still working in accordance with international law and not in favor of a rules-based world order. That's what the Americans claim in order to smack you. Hey, you're violating the rules-based world order. What are those rules? We're not going to tell them. We just tell you that you violate them. That's all you need to know. And we never violate them. Only you violate them. Zakharova wrote on her Telegram channel, adding that currently the main criterion for hiring in Czech Foreign Ministry is loyalty to the West. I agree with that. And I'm quoting, Prague's creativity is so limited, it can be compared to Sofia's, Bulgaria's, decision to ban me from flying through Bulgaria's airspace, Zakharova added. If you remember, they did not allow the Russian Foreign Ministry's plane to cross over Bulgaria to go to OSCE Council, whatever that, a meeting in foreign ministers. Where was that? In Montenegro? Where was that? I can't remember where. In Montenegro? In Macedonia, North Macedonia. They had to go around through Greece. And she makes the claim, funny claim, I would say, and Zakharova, the malicious stupidity of the Russophobes has reached the point that for the first time in our history, the official authorities have forbidden not an airplane, but a person in an airplane to be in the sky. This is what is written in an official note of the Bulgarian Foreign Ministry. An airplane can fly over Bulgaria, but Zakharova cannot fly in an airplane, the spokeswoman said at the time. Nothing, and she says, and this is funny, nothing was said about whether I could fly over Bulgaria without an airplane or whether I could use outer space for this purpose, Zakharova said. Well, Zakharova is very smart. I like her, obviously. So what happened here at the United Nations meeting? The Czech Republic did not have the courage to publicly respond to Moscow's claim that Czech-made missiles were used by Ukraine to kill civilians, Russia's deputy envoy to the United Nations, Dmitry Polyansky, said on Sunday. Now, this is what the Poles, the Czechs will come and give a justification. I think it's just a weasel justification, but I should have just showed up and said, yeah, they used it. You're a criminal. And that's it. And the Russians will say, see, that's a violation. So what? Blow me. What are you going to do? Nothing. But they didn't even do that. They start saying, we're not going to participate to when Russia summons us. They should talk about the invasion. Then we're going to show up. Some weasel ways of postponing an answer. You provided those guys with the missiles. If it's true, according to Russians. If true. And they didn't show up. They could have showed up and said, that's not true. Fuck off. But they didn't. So they could have denied anyway. What the Russians will do? Tell CNN to publish their evidence? No, they were not. So we would not hear it. Or if we were going to hear it, we're going to hear it one day for about 30 minutes somewhere in some media, and that news disappears immediately. And they say, well, we informed you. If you didn't pay attention, what do you want? But we linger over other stupid actions. And we forget about other things in the East Mediterranean, a little bit on the shore. So anyway, this is what the guy should have done. Yeah, we did it. And you know what? You can't do anything. What are you going to do? Huh? Nothing. But they didn't even do that. Weasel. Now, Russia called an urgent meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York on Saturday, requesting that the Czech delegation attend and, I'm quoting, explain why this country's ammunition is being used for killing civilians in Belgorod, Polyansky said. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian troops used the Czech-delivered RM-70 Vampire multiple rocket launchers to fire at the border city of Belgorod earlier that day, killing at least 21 people and injuring more than 100 people. Prague, Czech Republic, has declined to participate in the United Nations meeting, and I'm quoting, "We refuse to be summoned anywhere by Russia." Oh, you're so morally superior. Garbage. Garbage for me. I mean, if that works for you, imagine that someone would talk to you the same way. I don't like what you did to the neighbor over there, therefore I will not talk to you. I'm going to show you one trait of a narcissistic personality, and I will just give you the, how do you call it? It's called silence treatment. There you go. Remember, Czech Republic is a very small country with very small population in Central Europe. It is a landlocked country. Beautiful country. I visited many times. But it's not an important country. As is, I don't know, Romania, Czech Republic, Albania, Hungary, Bulgaria. These are small countries, unimportant countries. It's not, let's say, the Great Britain or France still, Germany, United States, China, India, Brazil. They are not. Or Japan, South Korea. These are important, strong countries, militarily, economically, and the population. So in those terms, you are just a fucking peon on a chessboard. That's all you are. You're not a queen. You're not a king. You're just sacrifice. That's what you are. Sacrifice for another peon of the same level. What are you talking about? We refuse because we have principles. Again, my friends, don't mock yourselves, my Czech friends. All right, so we refuse to be summoned anywhere by Russia. Czech Foreign Minister Jan Lipavsky wrote on X, accusing Moscow of propaganda. Because you are not involved in propaganda whatsoever. You're perfect, like others in the Middle East, one country. And I'm quoting, "When Russia wants to discuss the withdrawal of its occupying troops at the Security Council, we will be happy to come." Again, nobody really gives a fuck about you. You're so unimportant. The problem is you are told what to do by Al Capone. Right? That's what happens here. And Al Capone hits the other big guy through you. Probably Russia can squash you if he just leans on the side to watch the TV. Like that. Okay? So, take your big hat and stick it in your ass. Now, I don't have a problem with the Czech Republic, but show up, tell the Russians to fuck themselves, okay? If that's what you really are. And say, you know what? Shut the hell up. And then point a few things and leave. Debate. Don't even debate why you're morally superior. With this kind of attitude, we don't talk to one another, and we just, commit certain things that are even greater if compared with things that we would probably commit if we talk. If we talk, we discuss, we have an understanding, maybe not, disagreement, but still is not the same thing as misinterpretation. Just go and talk. But hey, they thought they are superior. Good for them. They're not. Now, Polyansky fired back at X, right, and said, "Your cowardice and simple-mindedness have been noted." The Russian diplomat wrote, "We assume that the Czech Republic will no longer participate in UN Security Council meeting on the issue of Ukraine." Well, and it says, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova also blasted Prague's actions with, "I didn't think that the Czech Foreign Ministry would be so ignorant as to know how the UN Security Council functions." We already got this one. Let me tell you this. The Czechs, again, they don't understand this one, but maybe... Anyway, in my experience as an investigator, I conducted many interviews with various people, various cultures, ages, sexes, orientations, and whatever. So you interview victims, you interview witnesses, you interview alleged perpetrators, suspects, and so on. And during the interviews with the alleged perpetrator or suspects, depends how you look at it, and some people refused to speak, to participate, to cooperate with the investigation. And this was one of my arguments when I was interviewing one of these people. Okay, well, remember, I interview you so I can see and hear your side of the story. These are the allegations, all right? Some people said something. I'm trying to find out what happened. I'm going to interview everybody else, and they will probably tell me story A. And you definitely will disagree with story A. You would say it's definitely story B. But if you don't talk to me, I will have nothing else to do but take story A or A and say, okay, I'm going to make my determination based on story A. Everybody, so you don't defend yourself whatsoever. So I'm going to say, okay, your story doesn't exist. I'm going to take into consideration only what they said. Do you want to not have the ability to tell your story? You know, you have to work like that. And how should I put it? You can say, well, I'm going to use a lawyer, an attorney. Do whatever you want. Bring him on or not bring him on. Keep silence. That's your choice. That's your right. But always worked, at least in my case, when they spoke, because I said, I'm listening to these guys. I'm going to complete my investigation. I'm going to reach a determination, a conclusion, complete it, and maybe, I don't know, I want to find a preponderance. And what are you going to do about it? Based on you, because you didn't tell me your side of the story. The same here, Czech Republic. Now, if you don't show up, the Russians can say basically whatever they want to say. It's more than that, obviously, in the United Nations. You can work through emails and statements and blah, 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 blah. But I'm just saying, why don't you come out and tell your side of the story? Lie, as, you know, they all lie. You lie too. Maybe not in this one yet, but you know what I mean? Go over there and say, oh, no. These guys are going to cover for you. They cover for Biden, God's sake. For Kamala, for whomever needs to be. For those guys in the Middle East. They cover for those guys too. They will cover for you, right? They're going to need to use you. So you're still going to cover. You're still useful to them. Anyway, I didn't speak about the Russians because they're bad and so on. I'm not going to do this because it's not like when you talk about an issue, you have to always, oh, yeah, but the other side was bad. I don't give a fuck about that one in this one. And this one, I'm just talking about the Czech Republic, which I think, what did I do? Postponed, avoided, and their story will not be heard. I will just buy the Russian story and say, yeah, you guys, your rockets were used to kill civilians. You were participating in a crime. I don't know what, I haven't seen you. You were afraid to participate. For moral, how should I put it? For your values, for your what? Again, that's why it's United Nations, to talk. That's the role of a diplomat, to negotiate, to debate, to communicate. What is that? If you don't like it, get the fuck out. Go, leave. They were told what to do, obviously. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.